All right, so let's actually take a look at what's happening inside your business right now. So on my iPad, you can see every offer has some type of lead flow coming in, right? Whether that be from money you spend on ads or organic. Typically, it's going to come from ads, right? But either way, it's the same thing because ads or organic content is going to generate you traffic, right? And this traffic is going to come in the form of leads that engage with some type of form in your business, maybe a type form, maybe they've opted into a lead magnet, something of those sorts, right? But as they go down this funnel, let's say you have 300 leads each month coming in the top, you're only converting maybe around 10 of these, right? 10 deals means, let's say your ticket contract value is average on 5K, then you're doing around, say, 50K each month from these 300 leads that you just bought with ads. So some are converting, but you should in reality be at over 100K with the same ad spend, with the same traffic, with the same offer. Most offers think it's the lead quality that's the problem, or maybe they need better closers, or they need to restructure their offer in some way. Wrong. When I take a look at a sales funnel, I'm looking for 12 specific leaks that evaporate your cash flow. And I can tell you right now, you have at least 3 of these, minimum. So let me show you the math on what this actually costs you. Leak number 1, right? So this is going to be the nurture gap. So your funnel is typically going to look like this, right? You're going to have a VSL at the top, and then maybe it goes into something like, so your funnel is going to look something like this, and this is what they typically look like, right? VSL at the top, and then funnels down into your, application, and then after that, a lot of people just take it straight to the calendar, and then straight to the sales call. The problem with this right here is you're skipping the most valuable step, which is the pre-call nurture, which should happen throughout the whole process right here. But a lot of people skip this or don't do the pre-nurture right, meaning typically right when they book a call, right when they engage with the VSL or book an application, you really ignore them until the sales call. Because what happens during this process of when they first initially book in to the time of their sales call is they second guess, they forget, they research their competitors, they convince themselves that they don't need it yet. And with the proper pre-nurture sequence, your show rates are going to come from around, let's say, 25%. They should go up to 75%, right? With a proper pre-nurture system. A lot of people don't believe me when I say this because, you're really just sending them information and stuff like that before a call. They've really already shown interest when they first book in with you. So what's with all the extra work? Well, let me show you the impact and the money that you're actually losing without something like a pre-nurture system. So automated text messages, emails, phone calls, proof, testimonials, case studies, and other homework that a lead should go through before they hop on a call with your closer. A lot of people don't do this, or if they do, they don't do it right. So if you're spending 5K on ads, right? 5K on ads, let's say it's up here, and from that, you're getting around 300 leads. And then from those 300 leads, let's say you're getting 30 book calls, right? 30 book calls. We can also increase this number as well, but let's say for this sake, you're getting 30 book calls and only 12 of them show up because your show rate is only 12%. Let's say for this case, then, right, your show rate is a lot higher because you have a proper pre-nurture system. So in this case, rather than only 30 book calls and 12 showing up, you have a 80%, right? So let's keep the 30 book the same, but with the right pre-nurture system and everything I'm going to tell you to do to actually increase your show-up rate, that means you're going to get 24 shows, right? that means 24 sales calls, double the amount. So meaning double the amount of money that you should be making. I mean, at a 30% close rate, which should be a standard, right? That means you're losing out on 18,000 in lost revenue right there every single month. And over a year, right? Let's say you keep your ticket price at 5K on average. That's around $216,000 in lost revenue. Gone because you didn't send some texts and some emails. So here's what we installed to fix this, right? Step one is speed to lead within 5 minutes of booking a call. Number two, you want to have some type of automated SMS sequence, and you want to copy this or copyright it a good way to keep them engaged. And if you want to hire a setter to do this, I've had past clients who've only dedicated like setters to only nurturing through text message. Then you can do that as well. So number two is automated text. And number three, we're going to do value-based emails hitting their pain points. And number four, what we're going to do is send them pre-call prep material. This almost acts like certain homework. So right when you ask them on a setting call, hey, make sure to go over this email that we send over to you, they're going to stress the importance for the lead to go over this homework because it's going to provide them valuable information, value, questions that they might have, answer frequently asked questions and concerns they might have. And this overall gets them a lot more warmed up and prepared to buy, right? Because if they do something for you, like doing homework for you, that automatically, psychologically, gets them to buy in a little bit more. And this is going to have materials such as this alone increased my show rates for my clients 30 to 40% extra, meaning more people showed up and more people closed. Leak number two that we have here that many offer owners face, many info product companies nowadays, is data blindness. Data blindness. Every founder I've talked to says, I think my sales team's doing okay, right? But when I ask them simple questions such as, okay, what's your close rate? What's your show up rate? What is your booking rate, right? Simple questions like the big three, they don't often know. And just those big questions should be easily said, right in your sleep, let alone talking about more advanced data points that show competitive analysis and a lot better information for you to figure out what problems are having in your business. So you can't scale what you don't measure. Here's what happens when you don't track data properly. You hire a closer that sounds good. You let them take calls for 3 months. You think they're doing fine, but when you actually take a look at their numbers, you figure out that they're closing at 15%. They're having other issues outside of it. And in reality, they should be at 35% and seeing a lot more improvements in other aspects of their data. Now, not tracking things like a big number like close rate properly, which can be messed up a lot of times. Let's say it says 15%, they should really be at 30%, 35%. Then that's a 20% in close rate that you're missing out on. Just gone after 3 months of not data tracking properly. So if you're tracking data properly and you figure out they're at a 15% when in reality they should be at a 35%, then that means a 20% difference in close rate over 3 months, right? Over the span of 3 months. If they took 40 calls now in that span of the 3 months, and average ticket price is 5K, then that means you're losing out on 40K in lost revenue that you didn't make because you weren't tracking properly. What I do for my clients is I build data tracking systems that are advanced, that track 15 different KPIs between each closer, each day, each week. Calls on the calendar, show rate, close rate, sales taken, average contract value, questions faced, and plenty other that are also very vital to just figure out what you need to improve on. When you have the data, you know exactly where the breakdowns happen, and you can fix them in a matter of days rather than months. One client that we started working with figured out that their same closer that was doing the top amount close rate was getting the same amount of volume and quality leads as the lowest closer. So after we figured that out by tracking, first of all, we were able to implement a rerouting system in order to get the closer's calendar that is the best packed and qualified first before we moved into the closer who had a lower performance. Packing the best closer's calendar first generated an extra 40K that month. We had the same team, same offers, and same allocation. Nothing changed. Just figuring out the data alone allowed us to make that simple switch to generate that extra tens of thousands of dollars. All right, so now that you went over and saw that you're having a blind spot in some of your data points, we'll be moving on to number 3, which is the follow-up black hole. So what happens here is, let's say your closer doesn't close, but they'll be like, hey, I'll follow up with them, and you find out that nothing actually happens. 3 weeks later, you follow up on it, and you figure out, they forgot. That is 5 to 15K just evaporated. Here's the reality of it. Proper follow-up systems will generate 5 to 15% of your no's and turn them into yeses. So now that we know that a proper follow-up system is necessary, what does this actually mean if you don't have this? Because I really need to stress it in order for some people to really realize how much they're leaking from it. Let's say if you have 10 people close a month, right? And then you have 20 people who, as a result, also said no. Or, something along those lines. Right now is not the right time. I need to talk to a partner. I got to get some funds together. Something along the lines of just not going through with the deal. So I guarantee you that from these 20 people that said no, there are 3 to 4 of them that are actually ready to buy right there or within the next couple of weeks. So 3 to 4 deals just sitting here in your pipeline that you're not going to do anything with, that, let's say, still 5K ticket price, you're losing around 10 to 20K each month just from this. And annually, what this means is over 120 to 240K in lost revenue each month, right? Because you didn't follow up with these people that said no. So here's what we install. Number 1 is an automated follow-up system. You can do this in your CRM, or you can do this with Zapier. Something that allows your closer to kind of not have to manually follow up with all the, let's say, tens of hundreds of follow-ups that they need to make, because eventually it just stacks up and it's not going to be realistic for your closer to do all of it alone. We have 24-hour post-call check-ins, so this is a little bit different than auto follow-ups because this is going to be manually done. So typically done by the closer, if not by the setter. You want to have at least 48 hours, at least max, where you're following up with them with a phone call, some type of human interaction like a voice. So this 24-hour post-call check-in, this is going to allow leads to... Number 2, what we're going to have is some type of 48-hour maximum post-call check-in. What this actually means is 48 hours after a sales call, typically the closer, if not the setter, rings them up one more time, asks them, what are your thoughts, anything like that. Just spark some type of conversation, because typically a day to 2 days after, they've had a lot of thoughts, especially if they're on the leaning side of no, right? So some type of 48 post-call check-in, 48 hours after, And whatever they say, it's completely fine. But what the main intent of this is to add a human touch to the process. You never want to just let a lead go right after they say no. You want to have some type of human touch, like, hey, these are the next steps. Let me at least provide you this, or something like that, in order to get them still in the pipeline, still potential to close. And what you can do really too is just add, bi-weekly check-ins for a call from the closer. So just have a call block on your your closer's calendar. Just say follow-ups calls, and during that block or an hour, whatever it is, they just call up the leads they've had in the past that are marked as follow-ups, right? Just bi-weekly, weekly, you mark them. You make sure that you're continuously nurturing them and making sure that you're still there. And number 3 is, in order to make sure all of this goes through, you want to have some type of sales manager to hold everybody accountable. Because oftentimes, I'll tell you, it's going to be a dream scenario for a closer to all their follow-ups, all their pre-call SOPs, everything sales call related, sales calls, and all of that. It might seem like only a little bit, but for even the hardest working closers, a lot of them can lose track. So having some type of sales manager makes a huge difference, making sure everybody's locked in, everybody's on the same page, and everybody's staying accountable. And this manager alone can make a huge difference, right? So if you don't have one, find one. If maybe your top closer can do something like that, then make sure that you turn them into a sales lead. But having this in place is going to make a big difference for if you want to follow up and close those deals that say no, then you're going to have some type of accountability system, along with automated systems and a scheduling system that I just mentioned. Now, one of my clients here, we were just at this stage where we wanted to implement some type of follow-up sequence. And installing all of these 3 added an extra $50K because those $50K were 5 deals closed, each of them $10K. And those were initially from people that said no, right, or were put on the follow-up list. Typically, if you don't have these 3 systems right here, then those leads are going to die out and fizzle out, right? But having these 3 systems, like an auto follow-up system, 48-hour post-call sequence, and a sales manager to hold accountable, then you'll have some type of ability to convert these back into deals. So again, same concept, same leads, same traffic, same offer. Only thing we install are simple systems, training people, and those 3 things so far have added things like 90K to the baseline of my offer for FrontEnd Now, right? An offer that was once at 30K, and now they're at 120K each month. And this is just the simple add-ons that we can make and simple leaks that we can just plug in so that we can generate real cash. So now that we know these 3 big leaks and how to plug them, I want to leave you with an action plan, right? Some type of framework that we can actually follow to utilize this information and turn it into something that gives you profit. Because a lot of people are just going to take this. Many offers say they know, but they don't really implement at the end of the day. And action is always going to be just simple information. I want to leave you with this. So week 1, here's what we're going to do. Audit your funnel. Where are the leaks? Take a look at your show-up rate. Take a look at your other data. Take a look at your follow-up processes. Take a look at what your closers on your team's doing, or maybe you don't have a team. What systems do you have in your overall business that is contributing to the results that you're currently getting? Week 2 is I'm always going to recommend to implement a pre-nurture system. If you already have one, make it better. It can never hurt. It can only give you more cash at the end of the day. Speed to lead protocols, SMS automations, and value-based emails. These 3 things, if you don't have them already, implement this. Week 2, make sure that your follow-up systems, your pre-call nurture, are all in place. Week 3, build out your data. Make sure that you're tracking all the KPIs that you need to be doing. Add 15 plus different KPIs for each closer, and make sure that you're staying on top of this consistently to identify the bottlenecks within your business as it goes on. Remember, you can't scale what you don't measure. Week 4, right? Have some type of recycling funnel, like I mentioned, the follow-up sequence that I mentioned. You can have these systems that you can install like auto follow-up systems, 48-hour post-call, scheduling, right? Those work blocks for your closers and a sales manager to keep everybody accountable. These simple follow-ups will turn lost deals into closed deals. Plug these 3 fixes, and it's not always going to be instant. It takes time. It's not always the easiest. Test, trial them out, see how it works. But oftentimes, these 3 things, if you fix them and you give it time, this is going to add an extra $200K each year to your cash collected. I promise you that. I tell you all of this because I see and talk to so many founders that are just pouring water into leaky buckets. And sure, if you just spend more on ads, the ad space is still competitive. You're not always going to get the best ROI. I want to increase your ROAS first and get the most out of the leads that you're currently getting before you spend more money on ads. If you want the full breakdown of the 12 leaks that I always take a look at inside my businesses in order to generate them an extra 200, 300, 400K, then comment audit and I'll send you that over. It's a full checklist and it includes more step-by-step, in-depth instructions on how to plug your leaks, how to identify them, and actually how to generate more. So take a look at that. I'll send it over. And if you're already doing 30K plus months and you want to scale past 100K, 200K with systems and a solid sales team that me and my team train and place, then take a look at the link in the description. We can have a consulting call. But this is only if you're really serious. We only work with businesses that are super serious and intentful about building real infrastructures for businesses that want to take it higher and higher. But regardless, take this and run with it. This is going to give you a lot of ammunition and a lot of information to go and make more money. I appreciate all of your time, and I'll see you in the next one.